All right, well, it seems we are now living in a time where it's become very difficult for everyone to get along with each other, especially our next guest. He keeps bothering me. Whether it's with coworkers, family members, or even on social media, it's more important than ever to understand how to handle difficult people. And our next guest, Rittmeyer, says that mental toughness is the answer. So he's joining us now to talk a little bit about this and share some laughs with me, of course. So, yeah, listen to this. Mental toughness. I was asking you this during the break. I said, isn't that just about like telling people to go fly a kite and leave you alone? Isn't that what mental, you know?
That's kind of the misconception. A lot of people think mental toughness is push-ups, running, telling people where they can go.
Right.
Really what it boils down to, it's all about emotional control.
Okay.
So it's kind of holding back from those things that you really want to say, holding back from those things you really want to do until you have a chance to really mull it through and think about it logically as opposed to thinking about it emotionally.
But it's easy for us to, like, you know, when the cup runneth over, it runneth over. I mean,
it's simple to allow the emotions to get the best of you, and emotions are great. Don't get me wrong. If you're Colton Underwood on The Bachelor chasing after Cassie, hopping fences, emotions are wonderful.
Right.
In real life scenarios, though, when you're dealing with people, emotions unfortunately can get you in a lot of trouble because you end up saying things you shouldn't say.
Do you feel like in today's society we are too emotional and that's what's causing us to not get along?
Oh, 100%.
Because I could say something to you that I think is funny or I don't think is offensive at all, and then you get all upset about it, and then you say something, then I get offensive, you know, and...
100%. We call it getting drunk in emotion. So once you've got so drunk in emotion, you're incapable of making any type of logical
I need to go
decisions.
to a meeting, by the way.
You absolutely should. Open enrollment. People, you're right, that people get offended by it. Unfortunately, once you offend somebody, it's just the wheels fall off. So then everything the other person says is going to be taken as a negative. They're going to dislike you. There's nothing productive that comes out of that.
So then how do you put out the fire? How do you calm it down? If I say something, and in my head, my heart, I don't mean any offense by it, but obviously it offended you.
Sure. So
what do you do? Do you count to 10? What do you do?
You have to find a way to basically take these thoughts that you have and take whatever is going through your mind and kind of shelf it and think about it just from a very logical standpoint. Okay, what did they say? What did they mean to say? How am I taking it? Did something just trigger me that's going to make me respond to this in a way that I might upset the other person? Let me suspend my beliefs based on what I'm being told. Politics is a prime example of this. There's a total inability to suspend belief. It's automatically I agree or disagree, and it's la 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 la. You can't function that way.
Right. So when this happens, and it happens for everybody, you were mentioning earlier that you have teenagers at home, you know,
daughters.
So what do you teach them? Because I remember being a teenage girl, everything is on our sleeve. It is the end of the world for everything.
It absolutely is. And on a kid level, it's really a matter of take a breath, step away. It's very difficult for a child to understand this, though, because they haven't understood the whole emotional piece of it. So for kids, it's very different. For adults, it's difficult as well. I mean, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
So you're saying I should just give up now. But how does one obtain mental toughness without being a pushover?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with being a pushover. It's just a matter of controlling your gut instinct. That's probably the easiest way to say it. When you hear something, when you read something, when you see something, the gut instinct is to react, and normally it's in an emotional state. You can't allow that. So whether it's a matter of just understanding your triggers, knowing what's going to upset you, knowing when you're getting emotional is the key. People don't understand when they're getting emotional. Okay,
so let me go back over this with you. If you had like 5 steps, 4 steps, what have you, what's the first thing I do? You say something, you know, Julie Wright, I don't like your dress. So the first thing you tell me to do is?
Go fly a kite. I'm just kidding. You mentioned some birds. No, it's not. It's understand. Okay, whatever somebody's saying, whatever somebody's telling you, whatever they feel, are they saying this to be deliberately derogatory towards you, or is it just a belief they have that maybe, again, it comes back to suspending belief. Maybe that's something that you dislike for whatever you dislike. Doesn't mean you're trying to hurt my feelings by it. They just don't have a filter, and they don't understand what they should and shouldn't say in public.
But now you're asking me to think about them.
You do have to think about them. Mentally tough people are very self-aware. It's not just controlling your own feelings.
You and my husband are friends, aren't you?
We are, absolutely.
I believe that you are.
On Facebook.
That's tough. I can believe it. But that's the thing, especially in social media, where people hide behind a keyboard. They can say the darndest things to really get under your skin, to anybody. So I mean,
but it's words they're saying.
Yeah.
So you as a human have 100% control over your emotions.
Okay.
So regardless of what they say, you have control over your own emotion. So it's how you decide to react to that that's important. What they say really has no bearing on you. You're the one that's allowing that to have an impact on you.
So get back to sticks and stones break my bones.
Words never hurt me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so think about this person said, hey, I don't like your dress. Okay, so I'm supposed to sit back and go, okay, did, you know, John Doe, Jane Doe mean to hurt my feelings, or were they just saying it? I don't know.
Sure.
Okay,
and really,
so
and for your purposes,
what's the next step?
For your purposes, it's a matter of, okay, at some point you have to cut the tie too. So
Okay.
at some point, there's difficult people. You can try as hard as you possibly can to suspend your beliefs, to be kind, and not allow the emotions to get the best of you. Some people are extremely difficult, and unfortunately there's a time where you got to cut the tie and go. At home, in personal life, it's pretty easy. You cut somebody off, done, have a nice day.
Right.
In business life, unfortunately, you have to learn to deal with these people, and it's really a matter of understanding where they're coming from and not allowing them to control how you feel.
So sometimes when you cut somebody off, so again, you're in the work atmosphere, I don't like your suit, you know, I've offended you, you know, you've tried to play nice, it's just not happening. So now when we see each other and we walk down the hall, we walk separate ways.
And that's why I differentiate between personal and business. In business,
Okay.
unfortunately, sometimes it's just not possible you can cut somebody off.
Right.
Those are the situations where you have to become mentally tough to understand, I have to figure out a way to deal with this person. I have to figure out a way to not allow them to upset me. I feel angry when I'm around them without them saying a word. That's allowing somebody to get the best of you. Your emotions are controlling everything you do.
So basically, in its simplest form, be accountable for yourself.
100%. You're 100% responsible for your results. You're 100% responsible for your feelings. The other person's just saying words. They're just saying things. It's how you internalize that really matters.
And then do you suggest taking a good kickboxing class at the end of the day, or?
Grappling's wonderful, yes. Desensitization, yeah.
It is tough, though, because we are a society that we do get upset easily over things now. I mean, real easy.
We do.
And
because we're not able, as humans, we're not able to truly try to understand where someone else is coming from.
Where did we drop the ball?
Oh, we dropped the ball a long time ago, I think. You know, I think especially it's the lack of responsibility. You know, there's a lady in news now who goes to the zoo. I think it was Arizona. There's a jaguar there. She hops the fence to get a selfie. The jaguar grabs a hold of her, almost rips her arm off. She's on the news this morning saying, yes, it was my fault, but the fence should have been further back away from the cage.
Oh my gosh, okay.
So it's that butt that gets thrown there. So it's lack of accountability. Nobody wants to accept responsibility for their options. You're responsible for your results. Like it, love it, hate it. You're responsible for where you are in life. You're 100% control.
And for every action, there's an opposite and equal
100%.
reaction. So if you throw a stone, somebody's going to throw a bigger rock, and then
Cause and effect.
there you go.
Absolutely.
All right. Man, I feel like you know my husband. All right, so I just need to sit here and bite my tongue.
You should probably bite your tongue, yes. No birdies.
No, you're the best. Where do we find you? How do I get in touch with you when I'm in trouble? What do I need to do?
When you're in trouble, call bail bondsman. You can find me online, actually, the best place, mentaltoughness.speaker.com.
You know me too well already.
Or 1-800-GOT-BAIL.
Oh my gosh. All right, Eric, thanks. You are the best. Thank you for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for having me, Joe. I appreciate it.
Hopefully I'll still be employed the next time you come visit. All right, more Let's Talk Live coming up right after the break.